To kickstart this video, I would like to ask you all a simple question. How will you imagine banking to be like in the future? Based on a survey conducted on 4,000 consumers in US and Canada, we have found out that in today's world, banking customers are conditioned to want personal, relevant experiences that reflect how, when and where they want to bank. Firstly, bank branches are not irrelevant. This means that bank branches are not irrelevant, but they have to be efficient and bank must invest in branch digital tools for new customer experiences. Secondly, banks must become more than transaction processors. This means that customers see banks as transaction processors and not as advice providers. Banks must change this perception and grow profits. Thirdly, customers trust banks, which means that customers trust banks to securely manage their data, which is a win for banks. Statistics reveal a competitive edge for bank. Fourthly, millennials are leading the switching economy. This means that millennials are more prone to switch banks than all other age groups. Banks must develop a strategy to win this important but elusive customer group. In this video, we will be elaborating more on the trend of banks must become more than transaction processors. This is Jeff. He does most of his daily banking transactions at a bank branch beside his house. When he is doing his transactions, he feels that there is a lack of customer touch because there are self-service kiosks where he can perform the transactions by himself. This makes Jeff feels that bank branches are merely for transactional purposes, as the bank makes no effort in trying to build a sustainable customer-bank relationship. These pie charts show the trends of how customers feel about their relationship with banks. From the trends, we can see that customers' relationships with the banks are deteriorating, as there is an increase in people that feel their banking relationships with the banks are transactional. This change in trend means bad news for the banks. If nothing is done, it will be impacting the bank negatively. Customers will turn to other financial institutions for services such as brokerage service and loan services. According to a survey, 61% choose other financial institutions for brokerage accounts, 70% for auto loans, and 52% for mortgage loans. Only 5% feels that bank provides them correct level of proactive financial advice. Self-serve kiosks such as ATM, cash deposit, and coin deposit are more widely adopted at bank branches. Many banks do not even take the basic step of thanking customers for their business. By not recognizing customers and not thanking them, it promotes bad interaction style and bad customer engagement by the bank. For example, banking facilities like iBanking, M-Banking and ATM do not provide interaction between the user and bank, which results in a non-personalization service to the customer. In other words, this means that the service are not altered to the customer preferences. The banking industry is a very stuffy industry, which means it is a boring and routine industry, making it very mundane for the customers as they are not fascinated by the activities. Now, we'll be finding out what the customers expect from banks. Today's banking customers expect personalized solutions for how, when and where they want to bank. Their expectations shape the future of banking. However, digital-savvy customers' expectations move faster than they do. Therefore, banks must anticipate customer demands in new ways in a new environment by ensuring that there is relentless focus on seamless experiences enabled by analytics-driven customer insights. 54% of the customers are interested in banks locating discounts. This means that the customers want bank to serve as a platform for them to buy discounted instruments. 52% want proactive product recommendations, which means customers want banks to produce recommendations as to how they can invest their money in the bank to earn more interest instead of putting it in a fixed deposit account. we have researched on the ways to improve relationship with the customers and how the banks can implement the improvements in modern day banking. Firstly, branch managers are key. Branch managers are important as 70% of high-performing branches are driven by branch managers. Branch managers will teach the staff on how to interact with the customers. Branch managers serve as role models to their subordinates, which will influence them to prioritize customer service instead of sales. Secondly, a human touch in the digital experience. This means to provide peer-to-peer payment system that allows customers to send personal messages along with payments to the recipients. This provides personal feeling to the transaction. Also, it means to enable customers to configure their software such as mobile banking application to their own preferences, for example, changing the themes and languages. It also means to tailor to the customer's way of communication. For example, customers are more exposed to social media, so instead of calling the call center, the bank can provide a platform in social media such as Twitter, Facebook, etc. for customers to give feedbacks. Thirdly, banking can and should be fun. This means to introduce interactive games to engage customers in digital channels. One real-life example is the online game 123 Checking Challenge introduced by Union Savings Bank. This game awards prizes in the form of vouchers to customers based on their scores, which could be deposited in their new checking account. After the introduction of the game, the amount of time that customers spend on the website is 400% higher compared to regular site visits. This leads to players exploring new products and services that are on the website. Ultimately, the game brought an increased engagement not only with the bank, but also with other customers as they communicated through social media, creating a true social community to which customers felt a connection. So how will all those implementations improve banking as a whole? This implementation will increase the customer interaction with the bank. Customers will be more interested in the banking-related activities. This benefits the bank as customers are more exposed to new products due to the self-engagement done by the relationship-building facilities. Furthermore, it also helps the bank to save on advertising costs. And if one bank were to focus and improve on building relationships with the customers, other banks will also follow the footsteps and create a competitive environment in the financial industry. This will prompt new innovations created by the banks to build stronger relationships with the customers. In a nutshell, the bank will not only focus on generating revenue and sales, but also to upgrade their relationships building platforms to improve their relationship with their customers. What are the considerations that the banks should take in the banking industry? One of the most common processes will be the opening of accounts for customers. When banks are opening accounts for customers, they have to take a few things into consideration. Firstly, they will have to establish the identity of their customers by citing their NRICs or passports. Secondly, they will have to establish the integrity of their customers. Thirdly, they will have to verify their customers' employment or means of livelihood. However, as banks are moving towards becoming more efficient and introducing customers to open accounts online, they should not neglect their 3 basic steps when customers open their accounts on the new platforms. Next, as branch managers are seen as role models, they should be advocating to their subordinates that the information of customers are highly confidential and they should not reveal the information to anyone else, be it intentionally or unintentionally. For example, when there are credit inquiries on the customer's creditworthiness, bankers should carefully consider their replies and should only give a general indication of customers' creditworthiness instead of giving too much information that will be of potential liability to the third party and their own customer. This is because in Singapore, banks have both contractual and statutory duties of confidentiality. Section 47 subsection 1 of the Banking Act states that customer information shall not in any way be disclosed by a bank in Singapore or any of its officers to any other person except as expressly provided in this Act. This brings us to our next point, which is regarding to the security of the new systems that will be implemented by the bank. In view of upgrading their banking systems, they should ensure that the security system will not have any unnecessary leakage of customers' information, as this will also result in a breach of banking secrecy. I hope this video has given you all a better insight on how banking will be like in the future. Thank you for watching this video.